Hey, Special Chronicles listeners, this is Daniel Smrokowski, the founder of Special Chronicles, coming to you at the start of this episode 506, as we are just in this final week of 2022. We are in our 2023 giving campaign, and if you love this podcast, we could use your help so we can continue to produce these podcasts. Please support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give and join our supporters. Thank you so much. You said you're ready to go?
Yep, I am ready when you are, mate. I am absolutely fine.
Okay.
Floor's all yours, sunshine.
Okay. What did you say?
I said the floor's yours, sunshine. I always say that back in the UK, unfortunately. Hey, sunshine, have you got your jobs done?
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome to the Special Chronicles Show. This is episode 506. My name is Daniel Smrokowski, and I'm the founder of Special Chronicles and the Special Olympics Southern Shriver International Global Messenger. This week, we are bringing you a special rebroadcast of an episode featuring fellow SSIGM Ian Harper from Great Britain, and that is because my good friend Ian won the 2022 Learning Disability and Autism Leader List Award in the Sports, Health, and Entertainment Leaders category. So a big congratulations. A big congratulations to my friend Ian. That applause, Ian, if you're listening to this, that is all thousands of podcast listeners applauded for you. So that's a big congratulations. And this episode originally aired in July of 2019, so a few years ago. But we are rebroadcasting this episode. So you can hear Ian's story, and this episode actually, when it originally aired, it has received over 2,000 listeners. So 2,000 of you listeners have listened to Ian's story the first time it aired, and so now Special Chronicles proudly presents the rebroadcast of the Ian Harper podcast right here on specialchronicles.com. And this week we're talking all about the Global Week of Inclusion with my good friend and fellow SSIGM Ian, all the way from Great Britain, is coming up right now on specialchronicles.com.
This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
Podcasting since 2008. This is the show where we're broadcasting disability stories from an insider's perspective, and we are giving a voice to people with special needs. This is your weekly guide to find and enjoy acceptance and inclusion.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. I lend my voice to those who can't. It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time we stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Special Chronicles Show. My name is Daniel, your host and founder of Special Chronicles and the Southern Shriver International Global Messenger with Special Olympics. And joining me on this show is another SSIGM, Ian Harper, all the way from you're the SSIGM from Great Britain, right, Ian?
Correct, yes.
So it's good to have you finally on this program.
Yep, and it's a real honour to be on the programme as well. I've heard so many good shows about it. This is going to be like a blast.
Yep. And so listeners are new to you, but when we were at the World Games 2019 in Abu Dhabi, they might have seen both of us on the Abu Dhabi Daily Show, right, on SpecialOlympics.org.
Yep.
So, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on in the program, because it'll be fun to we look at that and tell our listeners what they can look for. If some people may have missed watching those shows that we did from the World Games, but first, if you introduce yourself to our listeners or to our viewers, because we're also streaming this on Facebook Live, and we'll put this up on our YouTube page as well after the when the audio podcast gets posted. But tell us how you first got involved in Special Olympics and your backstory of how you first got involved with Special Olympics.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I'm Ian Harper. I am the chairman of the Athlete Input Council for Special Olympics Great Britain and the current Sargent Shriver International Global Messenger from Great Britain, representing the whole of Europe-Eurasia. I got involved with Special Olympics since 2000 from a school friend who was in Special Olympics for a number of years, and he recommended me to join and started the training the first week, and within 3 weeks I was so hooked on it, absolutely hooked on it for life. And I have been involved in so many competitions ever since. I've been a 3-time National Games champion in athletics, 200 metres European gold medalist 14 years ago in the Czech Republic. I've also been doing public speaking in the last few years, and basically last year I was shocked. I was actually in Azerbaijan when I got the result as the first ever Sargent Shriver International Global Messenger from Great Britain in SOGB's history.
Awesome.
And it was real great to be here. I mean, we first met at training in Washington DC in January, and then of course we had what I believe was the most successful World Summer Games of all time in history.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so too. So tell us what sports that you compete in.
I currently compete in athletics. In fact, I've only just come back from one today from Birmingham, so I will have done 100 metres, 200 metres, shot put, and the 4x100 metre relay. The only thing that I can't guarantee when I'm competing is the weather, unfortunately, and it was throwing it down in Birmingham, so I had to run in the rain. You could not see the track at all, but so I ended up with 2 golds, 2 silvers, and 3 PBs, and the athletes that were competing with me today were absolutely electric. Mm-hmm. You know, you could tell the passion, the drill, and the determination to drive, you know, and that's bringing everybody in. The focus on what we are discussing this evening, which is full inclusion as part of Global Inclusion Week. Yeah,
absolutely. So why did you want to become an athlete leader, and then maybe go into talking a little bit about how you became the co-chair for the Athlete Input Council in Europe-Eurasia, right?
Yes, Europe-Eurasia, yes.
Yeah. So why did you want to become an athlete leader, and how did you become the co-chair for the Athlete Input Council for your region?
Well, basically, what happened was in 2015, when the previous athletes went to Los Angeles in California, I had a book of Tim Shriver's book, which was Fully Alive at the time, and I was competing down in central London. And Kat and the previous CEO of GB then had, and I was telling all the book about it, about the success. I was a big fan of it. She took the book to Los Angeles and actually got Tim Shriver to sign the book herself. And it was through that recommendation that led to the first ever athlete leadership training way back in 2016. And we had about 70 athletes from all 12 counties across England, Scotland and Wales. and then in the process, and then we did an athletes training session for a year in central London, courtesy from our friends at Bank of America, who helped us with public speaking. What would we do if we had money? What would we do if we'd have no money? You know, it was really quite fun. And then off the back of that, we launched the first ever Athlete Input Council for Special Olympics Great Britain in 2018, which was last year, and I was honoured to be chosen as the first ever chair of that council. And the council has been growing from strength to strength, and of course recently joined as member of the Athlete Input Council for Europe-Eurasia because of getting the role of the Sargent Shriver International Global Messenger, which I must admit, you know, taking over from my two predecessors, that was Johanna Pramstella and Lisa Wiedenberg, who were the last global messengers for Europe before me, is quite an honour. And I did say to them on an email when I wished them luck that I've got a very big pair of heels to fill for these two twice over. So
heels?
They did an awesome... Yeah, because I met the previous global messengers in Austria in 2017 at the World Winter Games, and I was talking with Brightfield Shaddy, who was then the global messenger for the Africa region. Yeah. It was an employment event, courtesy, full enough, for our friends at Bank of America. And I remember that night, it was in front of a ball, in front of 3,000 people in a big hall, and there was 12 global messengers coming out, and you could tell the atmosphere was buzzing. It was alive. I did not think that 2 years later, that when they have gone, I would end up in that position. I never thought that would happen. If you'd have told me that I was going to be global messenger 2 years from now, I'd have probably told you all to go away, basically. I would never have believed you. So I must admit, getting the international global messenger role in Baku last year, I did not have a clue. They found out I got it on the Monday, but they waited until the Friday when I got it in front of 500 people, because this was the launch of the youth program, for the youth leadership program in Baku, which I co-hosted for 5 days. And to get it on the last day was a big shock. I was stunned. I didn't even see it coming. Because when David Evangelista came up, who was the president of Europe-Eurasia, Special Olympics Europe-Eurasia, I thought it was either we've got another celebrity coming in or the police were coming in to take me away, basically. I thought, what have I done? And then and then when he told me, the penny dropped, and I was like absolutely shocked. Didn't even see it coming. So it was the biggest surprise of my career, I must admit.
So we both got selected as SSIGMs, and now for the next 4 years we'll have this with Special Olympics International, and we attended the training for our class of SSIGMs. Well, all of us were there except for Asid. But then we got to see him when we were all together at the World Games. But so the training that we had was back in January of this year at the headquarters in Washington D.C. So what did you think of the SSIGM training?
I thought the whole concept of the training was excellent from start to finish. I couldn't fault it. You know, there was a lot of stuff that I'd already knew, but there was other stuff that I didn't know about previously before. And it was strange, actually, because the one day when Bank of America were there to help for the finance training, I'd already got finance training from GBs at Bank of America from London, so I'd been through it twice. But I thought that it didn't do me any harm. Give me a reminder, you know, with all the savings, it was really good. So it was absolutely magnificent. It was, and I'm sorry we had all that snow. Obviously, it was quite funny.
Well, it was awesome that we were all in there. That we were all in the training together, and that we were all able to meet each other. together with our mentors as well. But it was great that we were all able to meet together, all as one class of Sergeant Shriver, International Global Messengers. So that what was the first part of the training that we did on the first day? We all just met up. We all just met each other, and Emily and Meg were there. Well, they were both leading the training, right?
Yeah, I remember, and also if you remember as well, David Edgun, who was the previous Sergeant Shriver International Global Messenger, came to do a presentation.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, about how he's developed since finishing the role as SSIGM, and it was really good and really inspiring as well to have somebody who was in the previous class go back to teach us was quite amazing.
It was.
And to get a good flavour and good experience, it was quite incredible. Actually, it was mind blowing. And from then on in, that once you've been given a lesson from the previous SSIGM, you're in basically. There's no going back.
No,
you've got to go. So.
Yeah. and so anything else from the SSIGM training that you want to share with our listeners and viewers?
Well, I think the best thing we did, is all of us SSIGMs who were there at DC, we actually did something quite memorable that was never done before. We actually produced the show ourselves.
On the last day.
Yeah, on the last day. And if you remember, I was like being the producer, and you guys coming up with ideas and throwing it backwards and forwards.
And we all met a few times at the hotel to kind of plan what that final show was going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And basically, we knew that the last day, this was the key to getting the show right, because it was a case of the show goes right, we all get the credit. The show goes wrong, my neck is on the block. But thank goodness, I'm only joking. But no.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about that.
It's all that fun. But it went very, very well. And to get everybody dancing was great. But to get Mary Davies dancing, that was a big bonus, wasn't it?
It was. It was a big bonus.
Yes.
To get Mary Davies up there.
Absolutely. It was magnificent. Oh, and I remember... Oh, I forgot to say as well, I almost forgot. We also... Tim Shriver came to see us briefly on that one occasion.
On that one day,
Mariam Thyab, who's the Sergeant Shriver International Global Messenger for Middle East North Africa, who presented this big boat all the way from Kuwait.
Yeah, that was awesome.
How did she get that? How did she get that ship all the way from Kuwait to the USA? I will never know. It's huge.
I know. Yeah, that was awesome. So, after the training, we had about a month where we all went back to our regions, and then in March this year, we all went to the World Games in Abu Dhabi.
Yep, which is the capital city of the United Arab Emirates. And I remember, and actually what happened was, and this is like a confession, I was actually in Abu Dhabi the year before, because I went to because I remember sent you a video a while back.
Yeah.
Me, Kira Byland, who you've already interviewed before, and Greg Sylvester, we went to the British Embassy, and we stayed for 3 days, and we actually came around the time when Special Olympics hosted the Middle East North Africa Games, and we were paired up with teams as volunteers. And And so I actually got a sneak peek at the games the year before, and actually some of the athletes, especially when I saw that basketball game, I can't remember which teams were playing, but it was so mesmerising, it was so brilliant, and it was a fundraising dinner, and it was to raise money to send 128 athletes, including KB, back to the World Games this year. So although this was great for everybody to meet up in the United Arab Emirates, because I'd actually seen the place before, it was really, really good reminder, you know. And I thought, I was thinking to myself, well, whoever are the new SSIGMs, they are going to be absolutely loving it, I tell you. I'm probably, you know, that's probably me one and only opportunity. Here I am, SSIGM, back again. So,
Yeah.
so it's like, you all got the first helpings, they got me seconds. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So, what was your favorite part of the because there was a lot that we did during the World Games. We went to receptions, we emceed events, we met with board members, we met with a lot of the global ambassadors. What was your favorite part of the World Games? Or what about that moment when during the opening ceremonies when we were on stage?
yeah, yes, I remember.
And everybody, so we were all standing behind Tim and Asib, and there was a few other people speaking, right? And
Yeah, Tim Shriver, and I think it was the minister for the United Arab Emirates' government that was there as well, and I must say as well, the opening ceremony was spectacular because what they cleverly did was they got the founder of Special Olympics, as we know, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and the founder of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Zayed, and they merged the two visions into one. And to come out with two visions into one, it was just mind-blowing. It was awesome. It was spectacular. You have never seen nearly 200 countries and 7,500 athletes cheer around as much as you love. I mean, the whole world could hear it. It was incredible.
It was. And it was neat that they had us all on stage viewing that open ceremony. So people saw our entire SSIGM class all standing up there.
Absolutely, and it was like an incredible honor to be on that stage, because you know for me, and I have said this to people, if you compete in the World Games, that's a great achievement as far as your competitive career, but only the people who have really got skills, but there are only very few people that will make what I call the elite. That's the elite group, which is the SSIGM. So for us to be in that elite group list, a small group of, what is it? I think we're one of
10,
probably around 70 or 80 in the 21-year history since it was in North Carolina.
Yeah. So the fact that we were able to be there and to show people, okay, here's our SSIGM class, here's everything that we'll do during the World Games. Any other fun moments from the?
I think doing the Abu Dhabi Daily Show was quite good, and I know that they're still chasing. I know that they're still chasing both of us at the moment to come up with the name for the similar type that we're going to be doing in Sweden.
Oh yeah.
In 21, so it's going to be interesting. It was good actually because
it was. I thought the Abu Dhabi Daily Show that we did was.
It was incredible because we were able to go out and talk with ambassadors, other athletes,
board members.
I think is going to be released tomorrow on my Facebook. Sorry, Dan.
Oh, what's going to be released?
There is one more motivational Monday that's coming out tomorrow, and that was me interviewing a coach from Special Olympics Delaware in the tennis, which is the only one that hasn't come out yet, but it's coming out tomorrow. So
awesome.
So on Facebook, that's the one more. I thought, did I do the two? And then it turned out I missed the third. I've got to get that out quick, otherwise I'll be in big trouble. I certainly wouldn't be allowed back in again. Yeah.
So how can people watch the Abu Dhabi Daily Show that we did?
They can go via the website at www.specialolympics.org. They can then click on the search Abu Dhabi Daily Show, and they will be able to put it up as well.
Yeah.
Or, of course, alternatively, they can go on the Special Olympics channel on YouTube and be able to track down the reportings as well. So
awesome. So, folks, we hope that all of you listening and watching us right now will go and see everything that Ian and I did as we hosted the Abu Dhabi Daily Show. So when we're in Sweden at the World Winter Games in 2021, what should the name of the show be that we... So I'm assuming it's going to be the two of us that are going to be hosting that again, right?
Yeah, I would assume so, unless they stick one more person in. Mind you, having one might not do any harm, mightn't it? You know.
Yeah.
So, so you could say it's like cutting it three ways instead of two ways.
Yeah.
But I think for the name of the 2021 show is I think it's got to be something eye-catchy, something that's super, that's got like a bit of Swedish flavour on it, or like
Sweden Daily Show,
or the I was going to say the Super Sweden Daily Show.
The Super Sweden Daily Show. I like that. The Super Sweden Daily Show.
Yes, or the SSDS show.
Wait, what? SSDS show. What's that?
Well, it's the same thing. Super Sweden Daily Show. It's a bit like Scandinavian Airlines, but they put the initials SAS on for some unknown reason. So yeah.
So what is the SSDS show?
Yes. That's just me playing catchy. That's typical British, That's just me playing.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. So. Sweet.
Oh no! Listen, I've never made sense all my life, so this is no different, mate.
Yeah, so maybe that name just doesn't make sense.
Nah.
The super sweet. I don't even know what name we just said.
Super Sweden Daily Show.
The Super Sweden Daily Show. The Super Sweden Daily Show. Yeah. Let's bounce some of those ideas off of. Who was?
I think it was Carolyn.
Yeah.
In the media.
Yeah. So let's.
Yeah. So let's go to Carolyn and bounce off ideas. By the way, viewers, in case you're watching, this is not the final outcome. This is just a suggestion.
This is just some ideas that we're bouncing off of. So the Super Sweden Daily Show. What could be some other names of the show? The Swedish Daily Show? Maybe the Swedish Daily Show. No, is that not a good name? Maybe.
Might be.
What could be another name? Let's see. Do we need some music to let us? To try to.
The only thing I was disappointed about with the Abu Dhabi Daily Show is there was no music intro at all.
There wasn't. I know. There should have been some. But instead of just having so they had the board games. Graphic thing, and then it said Abu Dhabi Daily Show, and then it went right into
Exactly.
Either you or me, or and the show. But there should have been some type of music intro.
There was me thinking, there's going to be like a music show surely for the intro, and when it didn't come up something, I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? All that work that we've done as a reporting, and yet we haven't even got round to putting in a theme tune.
Yeah, there should have been a little music intro thing to the beginning.
Yeah, there should have been. Something should have been jazzy and classic, that suited to the UAE's images. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find something appropriate for Sweden,
Yes, yeah. Well, for Sweden, we can see if they can add that to the beginning of the show. But let's move on and talk a little bit before we talk about the Global Week of Inclusion, because that's the main part of the program. But before we talk about that, I thought we could talk about an idea that when we were together at the World Games that we were talking about, which is, I'll bring that up in just a moment. But first, we could take a break to mention our sponsors. The Special Chronicles Show will be back after a few words from this episode. Sponsors. This episode is sponsored by the Jenny and PJ Fortnell Foundation. We thank Jenny Fortnell and her family for the generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. This episode is also sponsored by Goldman Sachs, a financial institution. We thank them for the generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. This episode is also brought to you by listeners like you. Please join our supporters and help support us at Special Chronicles with your tax-deductible donation today to help us continue our mission of giving respect and voice to people with special needs. Please go to specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give. And we thank you for your generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. And Special Chronicles is proud to partner with the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program. The Energy Force is the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. ComEd is powering lives, and Radio is powering us here at Special Chronicles. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. We thank ComEd for the generous support of Special Chronicles.
We are not just athletes. We are ambassadors of uprising, peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone who has a fear of difference.
Our demands are equality,
dignity, and the recognition of our shared humanity.
We will not stop or accept anything less.
We are deserving when we compete.
We are fighting for a more inclusive world.
We are champions on the field and for this cause.
Today, our world is more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution is inclusion.
The revolution is inclusion.
The revolution is inclusion.
And it's not optional. The only choice you need to make
is how you will join it.
Is how you will join it.
Is how you will join it.
Revolution is inclusion!
You are the stars, and the world is watching you. By your presence, you send a message to every village, every city, every nation. A message of hope, a message of victory. The days of separation and segregation are over.
Join us and sign the Inclusion Pledge today at jointherevolution.org. That's jointherevolution.org.
You're listening to Special Chronicles Podcast. And here's your host.
This is Daniel, host and founder of Special Chronicles and Sargent Shriver International Global Messenger with Special Olympics. And joining me back is fellow SSIGM Ian after that sponsor break that we just had. And so what I was saying before we took that sponsor break was something that we were talking about when we were in Abu Dhabi at the World Games. A few times, I think, when we were at the hotel and we were talking about an idea that you had of starting a radio station, I think.
That's correct.
And so maybe you can bounce off some more ideas on this program and share with our listeners more of what you were talking about for that. And if Emily and Meg are listening or watching this program right now, they can hear some more ideas. But so I know what you were talking about, because we had, so I thought we had some good discussions about that idea when we were together in Abu Dhabi. But maybe share with our listeners some more of what you were talking about.
Well, yeah, I think. Basically, in Abu Dhabi, I managed to come out with 7 ideas in total. How I managed to get 7 ideas within the games, I will never know. That was incredible. Normally, I get 1 or 2. I get 7. What's going on here? Maybe it might be the UAE's culture that I enjoyed. I don't know. But anyway, one of the ideas was to create some type of radio station, or like a radio station, because I think that, yes, we see everybody doing competitions, we see them on national games, we see them at the World Games, we see them at whichever other competitions that goes on throughout the year. But it's a case of they meet up at competitions and then they go home again. And yes, we know that we see them briefly at, if we're doing athlete leadership or we're doing the SSIGM work, but apart from that, there isn't anything that's going on. And I think there needs to be like a closed connection. There needs to be a really good connection. And so I thought, as one suggested, would be to create a radio station, and it could be comprised, which is led by athletes.
Yeah.
And it could even be like a unified project. It could be led, and I'm not just talking about presenters like you and me in front of the camera or the microphone, but also people from the back room as well, like the controller of the programs, the producer, the editor, the director.
It could be unified, so we could be behind the microphones or cameras, but then producing the shows or behind the cameras, could be other people like our mentors or any of the staff, or those people could be helping to produce the programs.
Absolutely, and basically, it's a case of element of the type of shows that we could be looking at. So it could be the day in the life of an athlete. It could be Special Olympics history. It could be a music program, like, for example, who was at number 1 in the charts. It's on the year of when Special Olympics was born in '68, for example. And that type of thing as well. So everybody sing, but also do live sports commentary events as well, where they could be reporters. So you could have the reporter out there say, I don't know, take Colorado, for example, that they've got a cycling competition, and you've got an athlete who is over there doing the interviews, talking to other athletes, but also talking to sponsors and stewards and the coaches, and what have you. And and actually it would get, and actually with this move, it would actually get not only other athletes across America more connected, but also to the wider business community as well, because they could see this and they could say, wow, I definitely could see a big potential in sponsoring either the next games, or sponsoring the entire team, or sponsoring the entire athlete, you know, and those kind of things. So we're actually bringing in even more inclusion into the party than we already have at the moment. You know, so
it could open up so many doors and opportunities for so many people throughout the across the globe.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that's something that we could even kick off and stout as all SSIGM class. So, you know, have 2 of us or 3 of us, you know, that could stout hosting and producing programs, similar to like what we're doing right now on Special Chronicles. You know, where we'll tape in a program right now.
Absolutely.
So we could have like different shows, kind of like this program and various different programs, and have it as a podcast or have it as a continuing stream. Or you also mentioned that you were talking to somebody about this at the World Games, so you will. Did you mention this idea to anybody?
Yes, I brought the idea to our great friend who will probably be hearing this now or later when he gets the chance, Mr. Ben Hack from Special Olympics Australia, about it, and he and the communications team were really revved up at the idea of that. You know, when I spoke to him about it, it was quite unbelievable. Yeah. He really liked the idea of it, and I've also put it to Emily, who is watching as well, and she also thought it was a good move as well. You know, actually, so it would be really, really, really good as well. And
kind of going off of that, I was just thinking, kind of an idea that could kind of go along with that is, so we did the Abu Dhabi Daily Show when we were at the World Games, and then we're going to do the Super Sweden show, whatever the name
we come up with eventually for Sweden.
Whatever the name we come up with in Sweden, yeah. So, but for now, we'll just say the Super Sweden Daily Show, or whatever name we come up with that. But what about if from now until then, like between times, we come up with another show, or something, you know, where we could both host or present on that, and what do you think about that idea?
I think that would be brilliant, because it will just show them that we're not just here for the World Games or state games and then disappear off home again. No. We're here on an ongoing basis, and you know, whatever show we want to make it to be between the games that has ended, which was the first World Summer Games in the Middle East, which was in Abu Dhabi in March. What the hell's going on there? Sorry about that. That was the computer. My apologies. I've switched it off. That gave me a heart attack. Sorry, viewers. I think also as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think also as well. Sorry, I got you back there.
Yeah.
But I think also as well. So we're not just there on a basis.
No.
Where we're just there at the games and going home. We are here for an ongoing basis, and I think whatever show we make it as, you know, whatever type of show that we make it as, you know, if we can run with it and become successful, and so we will have taken it from the country that hosted the first World Summer Games in the Middle East, which was the UAE, and go all the way to the country that will be hosting the first ever World Winter Games from Scandinavia, Europe, in 2021. And if we can run with that success, I think not only people are going to be hooked on it, businesses are going to be hooked, media is going to be hooked as well, so we're bringing everybody together. We're bringing everybody together to it. So I really like that idea, mate. I really like it.
Yeah, to try to produce some other show where we could talk with people throughout each of our regions, and then we could share those videos and share those interviews on SOI's site. We can share it on Special Chronicles. We can share it throughout, so people can hear what we're able to do. And so let's talk more about that idea off air, and maybe the two of us can talk with Emily and Meg about that idea to get that going. And before that, that kind of goes into another topic, but I'll get to that in a moment. So the Global Week of Inclusion is this week, July 15th to the 20th, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so, in the Global Day of Inclusion is on July 20th. The 51st anniversary of Special Olympics, of the first international games, and they've on. I don't know if you saw this. Our podcast listeners can't see this, but I'll show this to our viewers if they're watching. You can go on, and there's an article that says "Take your commitment up a notch and level up for inclusion." I don't know if you can see that. If it's too, it might be.
Oh yes, I could see it. Yeah, absolutely, I can see it quite well.
So there we go. So I'll put a link to this in the show notes on specialchronicles.com for episode 344. So you guys can see how you can take your commitment up a notch and level up for inclusion. I don't know if you took a look at this, Ian, before the show, but it says, in celebration of Global Week of Inclusion, we're excited to invite you to level up for inclusion each day. We ask you to take your commitment to inclusion up a notch by participating in the day's challenge. So that they say that you can download your level up scorecard so you can keep track of the day's challenges. So it says, so those, how many levels are there? 7 levels. So it says level 1, July 12th to the 14th. What does your dream for an inclusive world look like? Share your dreams for an inclusive world. How are people treated? How do you feel? What are your hopes? So that's July 12th through the 14th. I guess that ends today. Okay. So level 2, July 15th, take the pledge and join the inclusion revolution. Encourage your friends to join in our mission by sharing the inclusion revolution pledge on your social media. Join the revolution.org/pledge. And during that sponsor break, didn't we hear a PSA for that? So folks, you can all go on to join the revolution.org/pledge and take the inclusion pledge, right? Mm-hmm. So people can do that. So level 3, it says on July 16th, share how you play Unified. Post a picture of you participating in your favorite Unified sport. What is your favorite activity that you play Unified? Share a picture of you playing, hanging out with your Unified partner. Ideas on other activities you can do together. Level 4, on July 17th, you can show this doesn't make sense. Show. I'm trying to read this here. It just doesn't doesn't make sense. What? I don't. Can you read it, Ian? Okay. So, sure was you were able. That totally doesn't make sense. Sure was you were able to loan by embracing inclusion. Sure time that you loaned something from someone else and how this has helped you. So you can show how you were able to loan by embracing inclusion. Okay. I think, does that make sense? I think, maybe?
Yeah, yes, okay. Absolutely. I managed to just about make sense of it. Absolutely, that's fine.
So you can use your social media to share something that you've learned by including someone else or being included. Yes, up. So level 5 on July 18th. What do you create together? You can post pictures of things you have created with the help of someone else. What is something you were able to accomplish with the help of someone else? You can share what you were able to create together. Okay. Level 6 on July 19th. You can ask others to join the inclusion revolution. Encourage people to tune in to Special Olympics Live to educate and recruit new fans. July 19th, Special Olympics will go live for 4 hours in an effort to show the world what inclusion looks like. Tell your friends to watch so they can learn more about our movement and we can bring in new fans together. Okay. So it says, let's see, join me and watch starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific Time, specialolympics.org/live. Okay, level 7, July 20th. Let's see if I can read this one. Okay.
Good luck.
I'm gonna need it. This is going perfectly. Okay. Use your Facebook and Instagram to create a fundraiser for Special Olympics and encourage your friends to donate. Did you know that $65 turns into a Special Olympics athlete for an entire year? You're using tools on Facebook and Instagram to set up a fundraiser to support Special Olympics athletes all around the world. Okay, so that was the 7 levels of how you could take your commitment up a notch and level up for inclusion this week for the Global Week of Inclusion. There.
Very good. Very good.
We got through that. So we'll put a link to that. If you guys want to find out more about that, we'll put that link in the show notes on specialchronicles.com. Look for episode 344. Okay. So what did you think of that, Ian? Besides the fact that I need to do a better job.
Besides your great skills of saying, how do I navigate my way around the problem? Or saying, this don't make sense. Oh, this just about makes sense.
Besides that, let's just kind of get past that.
Very good. I'd say that was very, very good. Yeah, and I think in seriousness though, I think, we need more people to be involved because at the moment we are still living where people are still living in fear of exclusion, and they're shutting them out of the community, whereas we want them to embrace it. And it's not just hospitals, and it's not just health, for example, because I know that the top topic in Sweden is going to be health.
Yeah.
But also employment as well. Employment's to me, health and employment are the 2 key areas. Employment's the other one because
that's the other
they still have this perception that people, can't do this, and can't do that, and can't do the other, and basically we just need to say to businesses, for example, that that having the global inclusion to work in their company and work in their places is actually good for both sides.
Yeah.
It gives them the challenge to other companies saying, well, we've employed people with disabilities or people with determination, why can't you? And secondly, it benefits the athletes on mentally, physically and emotionally because they're getting paid, they're gaining skills, and funnily enough as well, on the back of the success of the United Arab Emirates, because the other fun which I forgot to mention earlier is I met with the CEO of Kantar Research, Caroline Frankham, at the time. And it was a game between Cyprus and Poland. Poor Poland, they got thrashed by Cyprus. Sorry, Caroline, if you're watching. She knows, by the way, because I've taken the mick out of her ever since. And off the back of that, I had a presentation in London a few weeks ago in May, and the partnership has now been further strengthened. So now me and another global messenger has got a mentor as well from Kantar, and there's going to be, I think, another 3 athletes from this class, a few from the previous SSIGMs, and a few of the global athlete input councils will get external or job coaches, mentors from Kantar.
Awesome.
From Kantar, which is all over the world, and it's really beneficial as well. And actually, and here's a confession, viewers, get ready for the jaw-dropping moment, because Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin, when he was at that Disability 500, which is, I think, is a right for a promotion, saying if you don't have a disability on your board, then there's something wrong with the agenda.
Yeah.
He actually nicked the Special Olympics slogan, Inclusion Revolution. And so I'm going after him to see if he can join Special Olympics as well. So me and Caroline are chasing him at the moment.
Yeah, neat. So so we need more companies like that, and more, not just in the health career, but in employment, to join us and to really embrace inclusion and really understand why it's important to include us, not just in sport, but going beyond sport. So moving on, I think, talk a little bit about how people can choose to include. How can people choose to include?
I think they can choose to include in a variety of ways. There are many different ways, I think they can get involved with as well, whether that is employment that we just came off the back from just earlier. It could be health, or it could be something simple, like getting involved if you're at school or if you're in community groups, for example, and help them get involved in activities. Don't shut them out in isolation. They've got equal rights to be involved with the people as much as a non-disabled person, and actually you involve that person, it's actually educational for both sides as well, because the non-disabled person, and actually people think the person with intellectual disability will earn more from a non-disabled person. It's actually the reverse. The non-disabled person will earn more from the person with intellectual disability, and to have full acceptance and inclusion, because, as I mentioned, we're still lacking back, even though we're in 2019. And so I would like to ask the people to, whatever it is, no matter how big or small the inclusion is, bring people, our athletes, intellectual disabilities across the world, to get involved in any groups, any employment, any school education, or simple or other meaning ways, guys. But please get them involved and make sure that that they are fully included. And actually, you will actually be gaining credit for it as well by giving them the acceptance and the inclusion that we needed. So
absolutely.
So we're basically saying is come into our world and learn what it's all about, basically.
And one of the biggest ways that people can get involved is by getting involved with your local Special Olympics program and joining the inclusion revolution. I think that's one of the biggest ways that people can really, and really learn more about how you can choose to include this week during the Global Week of Inclusion. But then, not just this week, but really, find out in different ways throughout your community. Folks get involved in Special Olympics, and get involved in all these other parts in the healthcare and in employment and all these other areas of our lives to get involved. So next up is something that I thought we could discuss, that something we're going to want to make sure that Emily and Meg tune into this program, especially at this moment right now, which is about 56 minutes into the audio program, about 59 minutes into the live video stream that we'll tune in. But let's talk a little bit about should all SSIGM class all meet up together at another big event or maybe a training before, so we'll all be together again in 2021 in Sweden at the World Winter Games. But is there another opportunity where we're all, 10 of us, and our mentors as well, because we want to make sure to include our mentors in with us.
We might be leaders, but we would be a bit lost if we didn't have our mentors, wouldn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So, is there another opportunity for us all to meet up together? What do you think?
I think Emily said after the games in March that there was an opportunity. I think it was next year that we were going to meet up. I don't know what kind of springing surprises that Emily and Meg have in store for us, but I'm sure it's really, really good as well. But the one thing that's pleasing for all of us, especially, is that we have now launched our first SSIGM catch-up meeting. That was that was unfortunately another one of my unfortunate ideas for that. I just felt it would have been completely ridiculous if we'd have met at the World Games and not been in contact apart from the WhatsApp group again until next year. And it just felt wrong somehow. So I suggested putting in the 3 monthly catch-up meeting and putting the pieces together that me and Emily have been frantically working for the last couple of months, and we launched it about a month ago with me chairing it, and I think that went very well because we'll be able to talk about things that are going well in our region, as well as ideas that we have for the projects on the show, and of course, obviously, the next meeting it's your turn.
And some highlights that we've been doing within our regions. So I'll be showing that next catch-up call in, when is that? In September, is it?
Yes, I think it's going to be September the 5th. I think it might be. I think it's the 5th of September.
Or the 6th, which I don't know. Well, one of those 2 days, right?
Well, it's the 5th or 6th. One of us has got it right. Don't worry about it. It's the 5th. It's the 5th or 6th of September. We'll just go along with it.
Yeah. And then So looking forward to on that catch-up call where we're all able to meet on a call and catch up and find out what we've all been doing within our regions, and then Nasha is going to be showing the one after that, right? The one after me.
Yes, he's going to be chairing the one in December, and I mean, I'd have to apologise because at the end of the last meeting, because I didn't know who was going to do who. Was it Nyasha doing September? Or was it you doing September? But then he was able to answer that question. But no, Nyasha Dehara, who is the current Sargent Shriver International Global Messenger for Africa, but also the chairman of the Global Athlete Congress committee, who, by the way, I reckon he's very spiritual. He's like our guru. He's like our guidance, and even if we felt down, he can lift your spirits right back up again. He is so incredible. I tell you, and so Nyasha's going to chair the one in December, and you're going to chair the one in September. So.
And then when's the next one after that?
It's going to be the beginning of December, although obviously that date isn't confirmed yet.
And then the one after December, when's that going to be?
Then that one is going to be in March of 2020. Oh my God. We will not only be entering a new year, but a new decade as well.
Yeah. So who's gonna chair the next SSIGM catch-up call?
Well, I think the aim of the purpose of when me and Emily was creating the group is we want all of the SSIGMs to chair at least one of the group meetings, because that way it's fair for everybody for the SSIGM to chair a meeting. So I think it depends who wants it. I mean, obviously we're not going to be asking that question at the end of September because Nyasha's doing it in December, but it'll be interesting when Nyasha chairs it in December, about who wants to chair it. I mean, all they got to do is volunteer, and we just agree to it.
It's not. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So that'd be awesome. So moving on to the next part of the program, talk a little bit about how do you think, how can, of course, within the various sports that we're competing in, we're making an impact when we compete, but then how does Special Olympics help us through our athlete leadership to make an impact beyond sport? So how are we making an impact beyond sport?
I think what we have to do, and especially I think because it was mentioned during the commercial break that at the moment it is divided, and what we want to do is bring it together. And so I think what we have to do, not just us, the current SSIGMs, but the next one, and also from other various forms of athlete leadership, whether it's in North America, Europe, Africa, Middle East, North Africa, or so on, is we've got to get out to people and that's doing, whether it's doing more interviews in the media or magazines, going to businesses and doing public speaking to those business conferences. Or whether actually being involved, or even if it's just a simple involvement on the street, for example, and talking to people generally, because I think we have to get it out there, because Special Olympics is so critical. I mean, because we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and we'll always be grateful to her for what she did in '68. Yeah. But we want to make sure that we cement her legacy, that is really secure. And I think the only way we've got to do that is we've got to take it out of the competition field or track, whether it's in the pool or whether it's on the track or whether it's on a cycling velodrome, and we've got to go and promote to businesses, media companies, television executives, and so on. Because that way, it raises more awareness of Special Olympics. More importantly, it raises awareness for us athletes that we want to be accepted and concluded. And thirdly, we're not just here as like a 5-minute promotional and go home. We want to be helping in the long term as well. So I think we've got to have the drive, the ambition, and that passion to go forward with it as well, and hope that all of the businesses and all of the general community can really get behind us and actually get some of the athletes who may have never heard of Special Olympics before or get involved in the program as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, moving on to what might be a difficult question, but we'll see. Hopefully it's not.
Don't worry, I can handle it. It's fine.
Hopefully it's not that difficult. We'll see. We'll see. We all had about an hour and 5 minutes, but so we'll wrap up the program soon after, so it's not that long of an episode for you all to listen to. But I'm sure all of our listeners or viewers are enjoying this conversation, and but the difficult question. Well, okay, maybe I shouldn't call it a difficult question, but
don't worry, you can call it what you like. It's absolutely fine.
So just for the sake of, because I think you actually had brought it up, but you had actually said it was a difficult question, and you said you recently posted on your Facebook page that you were wanting to leave the UK after 2022, right?
That's correct.
So maybe share with our listeners, who I'm sure a lot of our listeners or viewers may not have seen that post, but maybe to tell us a little bit about what you posted about, and then why you want to leave the UK. I'm assuming that, so that's after 2022. So that's after all.
That's after the
SSIGM
ends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to ensure, because I couldn't leave before the term had ended. It would have been wrong.
Yeah. So what were you?
I think the difficulty. I think there's been many factors in the decision, but I think the biggest one, obviously, was Brexit. Because if you remember when we went to the German embassy at Abu Dhabi, obviously because they're hosting the World Summer Games in 23 in Germany's capital, Berlin.
Yeah, they are.
So it started back. This goes back longer than that. It started from the referendum in 2016 when the country voted to leave the European Union. Because bearing in mind, we've been able to have free access to the market. I mean, we could start our own business in the EU, get married in the EU, live in the EU, work in the EU, and then suddenly it's been taken over. And what I can't stand is overnight we had gone from a country that was caring, passionate, welcoming, and bringing full inclusion into everybody, Eastern Europeans, disability, migrants, and so forth. And it's now been turned into a country that is divided, hatred, and is not welcoming anymore. And, you know, I know that disability people in the UK have suffered for years when we were in the EU, but this is the worst yet. And I really have tried and keep the UK in the EU for the last 3 years. But I think eventually 10 days ago, which funnily enough was on the same day as the USA's Independence Birthday Day. Only me could choose that of all days. But I finally had reached breaking point because I just felt that, especially, obviously, I'm not going to mention the candidate's name, obviously, because I'm sure everybody knows who it is. But if he gets in after next week, I think it's after next week. I think it's the end of next week or the week after. The country's going to be screwed. And if we do leave, if we crash out of the European Union with no deal, then the businesses are going to leave the UK for other parts of Europe, the United States, or the United Arab Emirates. And I just cannot justify myself being there. And I'm really sad that it came to this, because obviously I didn't want to see it happen, but when you've got a potentially of no prospect at all in the UK, and travelling to the World Games and being with great friends has actually made me realise that there's more potential opportunity, but only if you find it. And I feel that the UK would lose its credibility status. And I know I did mention that I would either go back to the United Arab Emirates to potentially be in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, where we went to when we went on, I think it was the day before the closing ceremony, when we went to Dubai for a visit, move to America or move to Europe. But at the moment, I'm in two minds at the moment, because my head is saying Europe because I know I'd get the freedoms back. But on the other hand, because of circumstances, my heart is saying the United States, because I didn't think I'd get on with America, but I did. I absolutely loved it. It was like people were more friendly than the British. The accent was great, including yours, well, obviously. and it was just so great. When I got back to England, it was just dreary and miserable. And, you know, and I do feel sorry for a lot of people with disabilities. Yes, I know I'd miss my family and a few of my friends in GB, but I come to the conclusion that I just don't think if we get a no-deal Brexit and we crash out with no deal, there's no future for me here anymore. And I just felt that at the end of the day, rather than just bottling it up, I would rather go out and go public, so nobody would be able to make me, you know, change my mind and what have you. And I thought I was going to get slated for this when I mentioned it, you know, and all that. But the amount of support I've been given is incredible, and I really am grateful for everybody who have been so understanding and so patiently and so brilliant as well. So I really would take off my hats off to them for that, you know. So I commend from it. I mean, obviously, I didn't want to put the statement out, but I felt that, you know, with my future at stake, there was no other alternative but to finally say, enough, just cut your losses and walk away.
Yeah. So, where do you think you're going to want to move to, if you will, to move anywhere, like either here in the U.S. or, well?
I think it just depends what happens after the term ends in 2022 because, we don't know what circumstances it could be. Lots can happen within the 3.5-4 years, that we've got on our term. And I think that, anything can happen. And I did say, that, yes, I know now that my decision's been made and I am not going back on this, on my word now.
Yeah.
I'm for it. But I think it's a case of wait till the end of our term in 2022, and then whichever comes out as the most attractive offer, either a country within Europe or the United States, which is looking likely to be the two candidates to the left, I will go for it. So obviously, if it's Europe, I don't know which country it will be.
Yeah.
If it's the US, I don't know which state it will be either. So
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, but I think who knows. But I would say, on a positive note to conclude, because I don't like to end all the dreary stuff, and all that. But on a positive note, I think I will still be doing Special Olympics for now. In fact, the day that I leave Special Olympics and when I get carried out in a box, that's how much I love about Special Olympics, because it really has changed my life for good.
Yeah.
It really has, because if I hadn't have gone into it 19 years ago, I wouldn't be here talking to you now. I'd probably be eating Pringles or something and watching bad movies. So yeah, and I will always be grateful to Special Olympics for what it's done to me and my confidence.
Yeah, me
to
too.
be the representative of Europe-Eurasia is quite unbelievable. And to be working with you and the other 8 Sargent Shriver International Global Messengers is quite awesome. And and I've definitely, and this is no word of a lie, I've definitely gained a great friendship out of you, mate, as well.
Yeah.
With any question or a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And all of our other SSIGMs, I think we have all bonded really closely. All 10 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Let's see. Moving on. So we near the end of the show, let's see. Let's get to a segment that I didn't tell you about, but it will make sense after I play this audio clip. Wait, So picks of the week. So this is a segment where you can pick anything that you want to recommend to our listeners and viewers. What do you keep in mind that this week, as we're recording this on July 14th, this week is the Global Week of Inclusion. But what do you want to recommend to our listeners? Like, what pick of the week? What do you want to pick to have people do or read or watch or listen or anything?
Yeah. Well, first of all, and I'm going to do this in 3 parts, if I may. The first part is for anybody who has never heard of Special Olympics. I would recommend that they would go to the website at specialolympics.org, find out about its history, its fabulous value and its background, and what have you, and really get them involved as well, because you've got all contacts around the world, you've got all regions, and get them involved in the Special Olympics program. Whatever sport that you choose to do, believe me, it won't just change the person's life, it will change the family's life and their whole community's life big time. So I would recommend that. Yeah. Secondly, for those who are already in Special Olympics but want to take their ideas to the next level, I would recommend that they do some training, athlete leadership training that we've discussed earlier. Yeah. And really get involved with it. Like training for public speaking, doing accounts, and doing whatever sorts as well. And who knows, one day, if you got really lucky, you could be joining the exclusive elite club that me and Daniel are all to the privilege of having.
Yeah. SSIGM. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thirdly, to anybody who loves listening to podcasts or who loves it, which obviously, as you know, I'm working on a brand new show later in the year.
Yeah.
And that is to, but I would recommend listening to the Special Chronicles show. Absolutely. I would recommend that you download it, whether it's on Spotify or on an Apple app or on Facebook or on YouTube. I would recommend you download and watch it because, believe me, it's awesomely inspiring. You get to hear athletes' perspectives as well. Mm-hmm. You can tell that they're not speaking from the head, they're speaking from the heart. Yeah. And critically, the most important thing of all is, by you supporting it and also give a bit of donation to the great podcast like Special Chronicles, whether it's $10 or $50. If you want us to have your credit card, go ahead with it as well. Although I wouldn't recommend that, obviously. But seriously, get involved. Listen to great shows, and who knows, it will give you the motivation that you need as well for Global Inclusion Week. So that's my 3 element stages. To really get involved in it.
Absolutely. Well, awesome picks. So my picks. I'm just going to say that I agree with all 3 of those that you just mentioned, Ian. But I'm going to add to that to our listeners to go take the inclusion pledge, which is can people do that? I don't have that. I don't have those notes in front of me right now. But I'll find the link and we'll put it on specialchronicles.com for episode 344. And when you take that inclusion pledge, take it and then go and get involved in Special Olympics. Get involved if you're an athlete. Get involved with athlete leadership training, and of course, as Ian said, listen to this program and donate to Special Chronicles so we can continue to produce more podcasts and more shows like this. So that's the picks of the week. So finally, Ian, how can people follow you online or keep up to date with what you're doing when you're not recording this show?
Well, at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, now that I've got the blog problem sorted out, I'm going to be launching a new blog very shortly, which I think is going to be around next month. It's going to be kind of a theme with the podcast show that I'm going to be launching later in the year, which is the first one in the UK, because there's never been a disability podcast in the UK before, and which is obviously aimed at worldwide. And obviously, no name has come out yet, so I can't give too much away at the moment, because otherwise I'll be in serious trouble if I did.
I thought you already told me the name.
Oh, yes, I can mention the name, actually. You're quite right, so I apologise, yes. It's going to be a new programme called, and don't worry, I haven't nicked Special Chronicles because that's Daniel's copyright. Okay. It's going to be a new programme called Intellectual Conversations. So that's taking out disability and replacing it with conversations. And it's going to be, again, aimed at disability, and it's going to be like a worldwide show. I know that I'm in the development of branding. It's going to be a similar type where it's all done by donations as well around the world. And once I've got the branding in, and there's going to be somebody from the college locally near where I live who will help me do the recordings of it. So there's going to be a pilot coming in within the next month to do a pilot test run before the launch. And once we got it launched and up and running as well, you can follow me blog, you can follow the Intellectual Conversations page, for the countdown, the launch as well. Okay. And also keep up to date with my Facebook page. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. So basically follow me with all the journeys and the travels. And yes, you will get to see all the SSIGMs in those photos, which can't be avoided. That includes you. Yep. Mr. Host Man.
Awesome.
And really follow the developments as well. And really follow it. You can like, you can share, and you can make comments, but please keep it clean, for goodness sake. We certainly don't want to get into trouble, do we?
Yeah.
For it. So
yeah, awesome. So if you want to, we'll put links on specialchronicles.com to how you can stay tuned to Ian's new program, Intellectual Conversations. You said that blog, is that already up, or is that coming
No,
soon?
the blog's going to be launched within the next month.
Okay.
Because there's obviously been one or two technical difficulties, but we've got it sorted now, so we're going to be...
Yeah. So when it's up, we'll make sure to share that with all of you listening, and if you want to follow, you can find Ian, as he said, on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and we'll put those links on specialchronicles.com for episode 344.
Absolutely, and I think going forward as well with the launch of the show, I will also be recommending Special Chronicles as well, because as a kind of like a good partnership between Special Chronicles and Intellectual Conversations. So and I will definitely also be recommending them to listening to your show as well, because because I think it's really important, that they know that it's coming from they know it's me that has learned lessons from the master, and that's you being the master and me being the student.
Okay, if you think so.
So I'm going to be doing it on every show as well. So not just following my page, but following Special Chronicles as well. I would definitely recommend that, because it would give us both a really good opportunity to really work together in collaboration. Even though you're in the glorious US and I'm in from the miserable wet UK. So.
Absolutely. So speaking of how you can connect, we'll share how you can connect with this program, Special Chronicles, and you can follow me at Podmandan, PODMANDAN, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those places. And if you want to connect and find out more, connect with this program, connect with everything that we're doing at Special Chronicles, we'll let you know how you can do that in a moment with the words with whatever voice you're going to hear from in just a moment. And Ian, after this, you can let me know whose voice that is. If you know. We'll see if you know. But how you can share your comments and follow Special Chronicles right now. We hope that you will join in the conversation and share your feedback with us. You can text in your comments to feedback@specialchronicles.com. Under that address, into your text-in messaging app where you normally put someone's phone number, but put in that address, feedback@specialchronicles.com, and your comments will appear instantly on the iPad in studio. And join the conversation on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can tag us at Special Chronicles, on the Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And you can tweet us your comments with hashtag Special Chronicles and at Special C Podcast on Twitter. Remember, tweet us your comments with hashtag Special Chronicles. And please leave us your 5-star ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, Facebook, and wherever you listen to your podcast. So, whose voice was that?
Well, it was pretty much your voice, but in a recorded version.
Yeah.
That is so brilliant with the recording. You could certainly make an announcement like a captain of a pilot on Special Chronicles Airways.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've landed, and don't forget to like Special Chronicles on your way out.
Yes, and don't forget to follow us. And I'm going to mention you can also those of you listening and watching us, you can subscribe to our newsletter. Go to specialchronicles.com/newsletter. Find out how you can subscribe. And I want to point out, if you want to subscribe to my SSIGM journal, which is a private email list where I will post different blogs or videos, or I posted a speech that I gave at the media reception at the World Games in Abu Dhabi. So you can get all those updates by subscribing to my SSIGM journal, and that link you can find on specialchronicles.com. So find all the links how to subscribe and follow us on social media. So, Ian, any final thoughts as we're nearing the end of the program? Any final overall of coming on Special Chronicles today, or any?
I would say
anything else.
I would say, first of all, and don't forget to just to remind you guys again, this week is Global Inclusion Week, so please sign up as Daniel mentioned earlier to our Inclusion Revolution pledge, and to get involved as well. It will be brilliant, and the more of you can join us for that, the better chance we have on creating a better world for all of us with intellectual disabilities. And as far as me appearing on the show is concerned, it has been absolutely incredible.
It has.
It's been brilliant. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, all the other guests you've had before have been absolutely fine. It's me that comes in and causes havoc. That's always been my motto.
And it was, and when we tell people to listen or watch this episode, this program with both of us, we can say that we laughed doing this program today. We laughed and we cried. Maybe. Yeah. Did we cry?
Yes, we've laughed, we've cried. Basically, this was as bad as fun roller coaster as when we went on that Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, yeah.
The fastest roller coaster in the world. Now they call that. I'll tell you what, we were so hooked on it. It was unbelievable.
I think we closed that roller coaster down. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, so when you're at the end of this program, you probably wondering, what are they talking about going on the world's fastest roller coaster?
Yes.
We closed that place down. That, I don't know how many times we went on that, but that was super fast.
It is. And the joke about it is, I'm a fan of Ferrari. You know, that is like being a fan as well, because of course it's next door to the Abu Dhabi racetrack, which is the home of the final round of the Formula One World Championship, and I know it's coming back to Abu Dhabi later in the year in November. So
and that's where the cycling venue was, right?
That's correct.
Yes, yeah.
That's correct. That was the host of the cycling event.
Yep.
At the World Games. So
yeah, but going on the roller coaster, we'll conclude this program with how fast we're going on, and how much fun that was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we took off at about 120 miles an hour from the start, because you like racing at the start on the grid, and as soon as the light goes out, bang, you go straight for it. You know, especially the first time. Geez, your kidneys and that move backwards, and you turn inside out like a joke, saying, "Oh dear, what's happened to him? He's been on a ride, and now he's not the same person again." Well, okay,
yeah.
So you know.
And who went on that ride?
Yes,
it was both of us, and who else went on that ride with us?
It was both of us. There was Emily and her husband Nicholas.
Yep.
Who was David Thompson. Sorry, David, you're being pointed out as well. Virginia.
Yep. And Chris.
Yes,
who's
Chris
my
was
mentor
on it as well.
Yeah.
Saeed, who was Hazib's mentor.
Yep.
Who came over to help us. And oh my God.
Who else?
The one person I really miss. I mean, I like all the messengers. I really good. I really like them all, absolutely. But particularly one person, oh my God, if she sees this, I'm going to be in big trouble here. Yes, it is the joyful girl from the beautiful mountains of Colorado. Yes, Hannah Atkinson.
Yeah, and Homanto, right?
Yes, me and her. I think me and her had the equal record. We was on it like 7-8 times.
Yeah. So you're saying that Hannah's your favorite of the SSIGM?
I love them all. I love all the SSIGMs because I met Emmanuel in Baku last year in Azerbaijan, funnily enough. And I had contact with Nyasha last year on WhatsApp separately before we became part of the group.
Yeah.
And cheekily, he thought he was going to get the job, and I thought I was going to get... No, he thought I was going to get it, and I thought he was going to get it, and we both did.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of it, and I had met Emmanuel the year before at the Unified Cup at the 50th anniversary. Yeah. And then Brina and I did a podcast together, 5-6 years ago, and then Hannah and I did a podcast together last year, and we both didn't know that we were gonna get selected. And and now we're all together, and and we have no favorites within our class, right?
Absolutely. Although Hannah's completely changed me for good, I'll tell you, she's changed me. Everybody else has, but Hannah especially. It was just incredible. I mean, we hit it off straight away. It was unbelievable. So I think it's all good.
We should all go to Colorado then and enjoy the mountains.
Yeah, but also a bit of London, if you're lucky as well.
Yeah,
a bit of London. Maybe it might be worth visiting. This is going to sound mad here, but it might be worth visiting all 10 of those countries. It would be brilliant to experience differences.
All 10 of our in Chicago, Illinois. In Colorado, in Hawaii,
in Brazil, in Zimbabwe, in Kuwait, in Great Britain, in the Philippines, in Pakistan, and of course Hong Kong.
Yeah, so we should go to all of our programs and that'll be awesome.
Yeah, whether Emily and Meg could afford the budget is another story, but it is worth a shot.
Yeah, that's another story, but we should bring it up with them but yeah.
Exactly.
That'll be a whole nother story, so we don't know if that's... But at least get us all together one...
Yeah, absolutely. I know they've got plans for... I know that the plan is that we'll be meeting next year anyway, as Emily said, after we finished at the UAE back in March. I know that we're then going to be working together in Sweden in 2021, which is in Aar and Östersund. And I think the plan is as well. I'm actually going to be going to Sweden next year for the pre-games event, so I can have a look and inspect exactly what kind of volunteers they're asking, the venues and everything, and really see its potential, because of course Europe's hosting the next 2 World Games with it being in Sweden and Germany, and then I think we've got one more the year after that. But I think maybe in 2022, instead of just having the work and go, instead of just having work on the last project, go home, good night, God bless, see you later, and all that, why don't we make like the final trip less work, more fun? As a way. Just think of it as all of us going out with a big fat bang.
Absolutely. So,
absolutely.
On that note, we'll have to get together for another podcast talking about something else, Ian.
Yeah.
Because I think this program, this hour and 36 minutes that we've been going on this show.
This must be a world record.
Yes, it is. But listeners, if you liked our conversation today, get in touch with us. You can text or email us, feedback@specialchronicles.com. Message us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can find all those links on specialchronicles.com. And if you want to have Ian back on the show, let us know. If not, then Ian, you'll just come back on the show anyways, right?
I've got a feeling I will be, and in fact, when my show is launched later in the year, I've got a feeling you're going to be my guest co-host for that show as well.
Well, that will be awesome. You can stay tuned to Ian's new show, and Ian, you'll have to come back on this program as well. We should do it more on a regular basis, and I will do a better job at reading notes than I did on this show.
Don't worry. I managed to just about understand your writing, even though it was like scribbly lines.
It was. Did you see this?
I know. It's like trying to read a menu in a Japanese restaurant, you know. With that,
we hope that you all have enjoyed this program. Share your feedback with us. Comment on specialchronicles.com or wherever you listen or watch this program. And it's been a joy having you on the show, Ian. Maybe sometime we'll have to have you, Hannah, and me all on one episode together.
Oh, absolutely! That would be incredibly awesome. Oh, who knows? Maybe for the Super Sweet Daily Show, whichever show it might be.
The Super Sweet Daily Show, yeah, that's the name of the show.
Whatever it's going to be. Maybe Hannah could be the third reporter. Who knows?
Who knows? We'll have to let's all get together on another episode of this program on specialchronicles.com and talk about that. And we'll figure that out. So it's been a joy. Hopefully you guys all will get involved with the Global Week of Inclusion, and you enjoyed hearing from Ian, and we will be back with some more exciting content next week right here on specialchronicles.com. And until then, everybody, remember, choose to include.
Yes, choose to include.
Until next week, remember, choose to include.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I would say I hope you've enjoyed this episode today, and really recommend that you tune into Special Chronicles, because it is a great show. And who knows? Knowing my luck, I'll end up being back here soon, as you quite rightly mentioned. I'm going to be back here.
Yeah.
This might be the last time. So
no, I'm sure this is not the first. This is not going to be the last time that you will be on.
No, I'm positive.
Support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. As an independent public media podcast, Special Chronicles will always be there for you. Now we're asking you to be there for us. As a nonprofit independent media organization, we can only make programs like Special Chronicles with listener support. Our programs provide weekly candid, honest, and inspiring conversations about the people with disabilities community that creates awareness, support, and advocacy within each week's episode. Listeners tell us our shows are an enjoyable and necessary podcast for the intellectual and developmental disability community and everyone else who is able to listen to stories about life from a different angle. Please, if you and your family love our weekly podcast, make a one-time, monthly, or annual gift of thanks today. Support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give. Support for Special Chronicles comes from ComEd. Special Chronicles is proud to partner with the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program. The Energy Force is the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. ComEd is powering lives and really is powering us here at Special Chronicles to keep the lights on and our technology is powered on. As ComEd powers the lives of us, they're literally giving a voice to people with special needs. We thank ComEd for the generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting, the easiest, most affordable option to get started in podcasting. At Special Chronicles, we proudly host our weekly podcast free now to get started in podcasting today when you visit specialchronicles.com/Podbean. That's specialchronicles.com/Podbean. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard, the easiest way to create professional live streams. StreamYard is a live streaming studio in your browser. Interview guests, share your screen, and much more. Stream directly to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and other platforms. Sign up for StreamYard today using our StreamYard referral link when you visit specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Podcast. Our podcast was produced by Daniel Smrokowski on the Special Chronicles Network. Follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Our website, specialchronicles.com, where you can stream our archives of over 500 episodes for absolutely for free. Also, there's a list of our favorites, original series, award-winning columns, and blogs. And sign up for our newsletter to receive exclusive bonus content delivered to your inbox. Again, specialchronicles.com. Special Chronicles is hosted by Podbean Podcast Hosting. Our live streams are powered by StreamYard. Thanks as always to our business manager, Adam Smrokowski, who always encourages us to never give up. I'm Daniel Smrokowski, back next week with more stories.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.